this is Kim Nelson. This video is going to follow up on my last video, part of a series on how to do a maquette for a dome ring. Maquette meaning a three-dimensional sketch, or a fast sketch in Rhino. I'm going to go ahead and I don't need to have this top view floating in the air anymore, where I had it set for my control point editing. I'll project it back to the C-plane. Same thing with my right sketch or drawing. I'll project it back to the C-plane as well. And actually, in truth, both of these are going to become less useful as I progress. I'm going to group them together and place them on my storage curves layer. I like to group steps of work together so that when my storage curves layer becomes crowded or jumbled up, I can go in and just click around and curves that belong together will be selected together. Okay, so because to do the remainder of this, it's going to be a swept bottom half of the shank. I do want my front view to remain here. First thing I need to do is to establish a curve that actually represents the side view of this top of the dome ring flattened out. So to do that, basically creating a new side view, I'm going to duplicate this edge. Now I want to cut that edge in half, that curve in half. So get a cutting plane through 0, and I will go ahead and trim this curve off at the halfway mark and project it to C-plane so I can use it accordingly. Actually, it was a little premature. I'm going to still want this side view for a bit longer. So Control-Shift-G, ungroup. Take this portion out, copy it, and bring it back. Because the cross-section I have at the bottom is important, and I do like this cross-section. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line from the quadrant here, both sides. I'm going to use that as a reference. I'm going to extend by line. Just take this straight off to see what it gives me. Okay, I don't care for that. Explode, because remember, whenever you use the extend curve command, you end up with a polycurve. I'm going to try again, this time extend by arc to point. Allow myself to get a little closer to the width I had begun with. Okay, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to continue to use this as my new side view. That does mean that I'm going to have to reestablish this section. Use a fillet command to clean that up. Blend curve, adjustable. Actually, I'm quite happy with how that came out. Throw that away and mirror this over. Join these two together for my cross section, and I'll leave that curve as a visual reference. I won't be using it to model, but it is nice as a visual reference. So I now have a revised side view that will work coming off of my control point edited top half. So next thing I want to do is I want to create a three-dimensional curve that I can use as a rail. I'm going to do that by doing curve from two views using this ring bore and one of these. side view curves. I do want to verify where my seam is. When you're doing a ring, Rhino always likes to put its seam at the side. Okay, it looks like in the previous video I already moved that. You always want that at either the bottom or the top when you're doing a ring, depending on your design of your ring. So, ready to go. Curve from 2 views. Ring bore side view, and there we have it. Okay. I only want this up to the halfway point, so I can either trim this off, or I can go to the trouble of exploding this out, because it's the bottom half that I really need. So, I'll go that route. I could have also just trimmed it off with a cutting plane. Mirror it over. Give me a copy of this on that layer color. Actually going to change this to that layer color as well. Turn off my front view. I do want this cut off at the halfway point as well. So, cutting plane. Trim. This flattened top view from an earlier video is not serving a purpose right now, so group it, send it to storage. Okay. So that is my series of curves for my surface and curve network. I'm going to use surface and curve network because no matter what I do, it's going to give me a single surface. And for this dome ring maquette, I don't want any creases or corners. Bring this back in and do my surface and curve network. I'm going to pick my 3 rails, pick my cross sections, edge of the surface, bottom section, edge of my surface. Hit enter. I do want these set to tangency for now. We'll see how smooth it is. I can up that flow to curvature if I decide I want to. Join these together. Do a little emap command to... That's quite smooth and nice. That'll be fine for a maquette. And that does give me a bottom half of this ring. To finish it out, generally what I would do, go ahead and explode this back out to its two surfaces. I would extend the edge of these surfaces so they're a little overlong. 0.5 should do. And I'll do this all around. Come back, grab my ring bore from the front view, extrude it, both sides, and use it to trim the excess. I've just learned that the sweeps and the control point surface are going to look like they're exactly on the mark, but in Rhino it's always good to have a little overlap and then cut it back if you want to make sure things fit. And join those together. And I have a closed surface that is an effective maquette for the body of this ring. Now, honestly, I think that is too severe of a taper for what I wanted to do. For those of you who are watching this for the sake of homework, you can stop, and this is sufficient for you to do what you need to do. I am, however, going to go ahead with this video and redevelop the bottom of that ring, which will entail redeveloping the top of the ring as well. Okay. To do that, I need to bring back that side view, bring back my sections. I would like to see how this compares to the original once again. So go back through the steps of ungrouping, copying this out, do the ungroup, paste, and put this on my layer where I'm working, just so I can have it. So I'm going to take a look at this. I would like to have a straight line. That runs approximately like that. To make that work, I'm going to have to adjust this surface. So, turn on my points. And select my bottom two rows to start. Just drag a selection, select the rows, and I can use the gumball here, though I am not normally a fan. Come in here. The reason, for those of you who aren't in my classes, that I'm not a fan of gumball normally is gumball makes you, it's a crutch as far as learning how to work with your construction planes. It allows you to believe that you can ignore your construction plane, which you really can't. Challenge of shaded is when you try and drag to select, you can end up moving your whole model. And I'm just taking a minute to get this right. As right as I can. I don't want to add more control points. That's an option. I can do that, but for the purposes of this video, I don't want to confuse things by further building up that surface. Okay, I think that will be sufficient. Turn that, so actually keep the surface for a minute. And duplicate the edge as we did before. Oh, this time it gave us half of an edge. For reasons probably because we've joined and unjoined things, and so now Rhino has a split edge here. There's not actually a split in the surface there. If I go to Analyze Edge Tools, Merge Edge, I can remerge that. It was just a byproduct of that having been joined. Oh, maybe more stubborn than I thought. Okay, no, it's going to be permanent. Once in a while, the fact that that surface that it was made from had a quadrant and it's been trimmed back, we're stuck with that. It's okay. In this case, it works to our benefit because it's actually giving us half the curve. Project that to C-plane. And actually, I'm working on the other side primarily, so I'll bring that over. And I'll do an extend by line. And see, that gave me something much, much closer to what I would like to have had there. And at the same time would not have overly impacted my top view. In fact, for the purposes of demonstration, you can see it really didn't do much at the corners. Okay. So this is the new curve that I want to work with. So going to do a fillet. Explode this. Use this as a parent curve or an adjustable blend curve. I like that. It's fine. Mirror it over. Explode these. Because we only need the bottom. And regenerate those three-dimensional curves. Curve from two views. Ring bore. Side. Mirror it over. The original spine here should work just fine. I want to join these together. Just tidying up. Bring my surface back and do my surface and curve network. Rail, 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 edge, section, edge. Okay. And that is more natural looking to me. I prefer that. So you can go back and forth and back and forth. It doesn't take me long. That took me 10 minutes. I will follow the same process of extending out the surface. Huh, it's interesting. It's telling me that cannot be extended. Love it when it happens in a video. That whole going back, it's made it so this cannot extend out. We'll hope it works. If it doesn't, I'll get to show you a workaround. That is the fun of doing videos live like this. trim. Since that was originally trimmed back with the curve, I'm assuming it'll be okay. I mean, with this cylinder. So, let's find out. Yep. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so that finishes the body of the ring. Okay, next video we'll go into how to maquette the bezel. All right, thanks for watching.